AITA for dumping my parents for my BF? My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 years. We are the perfect match and feel 100% comfortable around each other, which I have never experienced before. My parents offer him a job at the family company over a year ago and I initially contested but eventually agreed it sounded like a decent opportunity. For some background, I don't have the best relationship with my parents, although I did feel it was mended after doing therapy 8 or so years ago. I thought I let go of a lot of anger surrounding my childhood, but really I just compartmentalized it and ignored it. Extra background, my sibling is estranged from my parents as well. My boyfriend started experiencing some not so great treatment from my parents at work and felt taken advantage of and eventually quit. My parents did not take this well and there has been a rift ever since. All of this has brought up a lot of old feelings of mine, but I forced my BF to go to dinner with them to express how he felt about the situation and how he was hurt by some of the treatment in order to mend the relationship for everyone. The discussion did not go well and my parents were not receptive to us nor took us seriously. They think we should just suck it up and keep moving on. BC he doesn't work there anymore. Later my mom told me she and my dad laughed at us on the way home from said discussion. I have decided to lessen my contact with my family / have pretty much stopped talking to my parents. I have started therapy again to finally resolve the issues I'm currently facing and past issues from growing up, but I can't help but feel this underlying guilt for cutting my parents out. The way they treated my BF is unacceptable and all he wanted was some understanding and, now, an apology. I don't think that is unreasonable. My BF has never tried to push me or persuade me to go no contact with my parents, but has made it clear he wants nothing to do with them if there is no apology. My parents think we are in the wrong. AITA, or are they? Comment. Surprised you are only lessening contact. Being a parent doesn't entitle them to respect and for sure doesn't mean they can do what they want. They do not sincerely care about you, your boyfriend or your feelings. As if them telling you they laughed at your sincerity didn't speak volumes about them, the fact that your sibling also doesn't have contact surely does. These are just not nice people, and I don't think they are ever going to change. It is valiant of you to keep trying for a relationship with them, but maybe they need some time to think and reflect on their behavior without you. Let your parents think they are right, alone. NTA. It's natural to feel bad in this situation because they're your parents and nature has pre-programmed you to love them, but you need to take a step back to look at them objectively. Stay LC/NC while you're in therapy and processing the things you've compartmentalized. Their reaction to the discussion with your boyfriend, and the fact that they are estranged from your sibling is very telling. Next story 2. AITA for not letting my mom sleep over for work commute. My mom has a hybrid job where most of the time she works from home, but 1 to 2 days almost every week she has to commute 2 hours to the city for required in-person meetings and outdoor work. I, 26, live nearby in an apartment with my roommate and best friend who is like family to me. Mom's a manager and sometimes is able to allocate others to minimize her travel, but the company recently had layoffs and her workload greatly increased. I do want to help her out. I've let her stay several times already, especially since some months in the past when I was unemployed or best friend was unemployed. She has helped out with rent, she offers to buy groceries, and she buys dinner when she's here. Mostly the problem is timing. She asks me if she can stay the day before or even the day of. I've told her that I prefer certain days and to be informed a few days ahead of time so we can mentally prepare and also clean the house to our standards. I understand that sometimes she might have no control over the days she's in town, but also, she can schedule a lot of these meetings too. Me and best friend both have pretty debilitating mental health struggles. I have chronic back pain and I'm managing anxiety and depression. All these interfere with my work and personal life pretty much daily. Usually that means the apartment is in disarray or we're both just unwell and must take a lot of time to rest. But if we have to, we're able to clean up really quickly. It just takes a toll and we have to recuperate and do nothing for days afterwards and it sucks. A few times, best friend, who works from home, cleans the apartment when I'm at work and then leaves to stay over at his family's house because it's easier that way, which I completely get. The last few times, I've told her that she can't stay on the days she wanted to come, because I already had plans and didn't have time to prepare. She said she didn't care about the mess, but for best friend if other people are over it does have to be clean, he will make it clean even if he doesn't sleep or gets sick. Thinking about the apartment not being clean? I'll have a little bit of a breakdown overthinking it. The last time I said no to her, my dad contacted me and accused me of hiding something. I told him I just need more of a heads up before she comes that night. Today I said no to her. Edit, this morning before I went to work, she asked me to stay tonight, and I'm afraid of the repercussions. Maybe I should have just folded? Regardless of whether I said yes or no, I'm going to be having a bad day, so I don't know. The alternatives to staying with me, she can drive here and back in one day, which she does when her meetings are early enough, and she sometimes stays with her sister, my aunt, who lives a little further away. Comment. It is really nice when you can help her out, especially because of her history of helping you and your roommates out. That said, it's an important show of respect to give you more notice of her request. And that is what it is, a request. If you have plans, or just can't, then that's okay, and she'll have to make other plans. There is nothing wrong with needing more time to prepare to have her stay if that works with your plans. NTA. And your dad stepping in is a bit of an move imo. You aren't a child. I mean, it's your guys' house, so it's your guys' rules. Have you maybe spoken with your parents to see if they could move closer? I mean, if your dad's job is in the town they live in, maybe they could compromise and move like an hour away, so your mom's only an hour away from her job and your dad's an hour away from his job. That way they're both making equal sacrifices. Or maybe your mom could talk to her job about a hotel and they could reimburse her 50% of her stay or something like that. You need space, and notice it's not a difficult request. She isn't entitled to your time or your space. If your aunt is only a little further away, it won't hurt her to ask her or to use a motel. Most people want and need notice before house guests. My hubby is disabled, and to suddenly have a house guest without notice would take a massive toll on us. However, with plenty of notice it's a different story. You have explained you need more notice. You're not getting that. You and your roommate are not running a hotel, and if your mom can't abide by the one thing you have asked for, she can make other arrangements. Your mother wouldn't allow one of her friends to drop in for the night a couple times a week without warning just because it's convenient for them, would she? But she's fine with doing that to your roommate. Tell her to use her employer's house from now on. Or a hotel. Or schedule earlier in the day. So many options rather than being a rude, pushy, ungrateful mooch. Firstly, where did you get the statement that her mom doesn't allow her friends to drop without notice? That is just speculation on your part. Secondly, it's their mother, for heaven's sake. Show some amount of respect. There is nothing mentioned by the op which implies that she warrants any such language against her. You asked your mother for a certain amount of notice, which she didn't give you. This is a reasonable request. And it's not just about you, it's about your roommate. It doesn't matter if she has been a thoughtful guest or not, she isn't doing what was asked of her. And your father is completely out of line. You just said no. That doesn't mean you have a conspiracy. Besides, you are almost 30, you are allowed to keep secrets from your parents if you want to. You should not have folded. If you did, it tells your parents that they can ignore the rules you make in your own home, and that isn't right. They need to treat you like the adult you are. Does your mother assist you with groceries and rent on a regular basis? Since your roommate and best friend prefers a tidy and clean apartment, and it takes you days to recuperate from cleaning it, would it be possible for your mother to reimburse you for the routine services of a professional cleaner? Keeping your living spaces aesthetically pleasing can be a boost for your mood, especially if the pressure of taking drastic measures to get the place that way is lifted from both you and your best friend roommate. Of course, a large part of that can be developed along with the habits of cleaning up as one goes, which can eventually save time and money. Next story 3. AITA for being recorded talking about my mom behind her back. Apologies, if this is all over the place. I am very tired. So, for some background, I have always had issues with my mom. We have often had arguments and struggle to get along at times. I have autism, and it's very apparent that she doesn't quite understand my struggles, as she often pushes me too far and doesn't realize that I may not be able to do things the same as neurotypical people. My autism was late diagnosed at the age of 22, so this makes it a lot harder for her to understand. For years she just assumed I was lazy, dramatic, and difficult. Currently I live at home with my mom, dad, and boyfriend. Due to the nature of my mom often causing arguments in the household, she can sometimes be a topic of conversation with my dad and boyfriend when she isn't home. For clarification, the arguments she causes are usually to do with not liking that my dad and boyfriend play video games as their hobbies, or that no one else does anything around the house but her, which at first was an issue but now is definitely not the case. The main argument that arises is to do with my boyfriend and I moving out, which we do have plans to do so. A little more backstory, my mum has a small history with recording conversations. She has previously recorded conversations at work with her coworkers. She would put her phone on record and leave the room to see what people would say about her. There were times that she caught them talking about her, and she got very upset. Once the family found out about this, we all told her this was wrong and she agreed she shouldn't have done it. Fast forward to today, my mum and I were discussing future plans for my boyfriend and I, and other issues in the home she has. She then admits very directly that she has been recording our conversations when she leaves the house and has caught us, my dad, boyfriend, and I, talking about her behind her back. She told me that she knew she shouldn't have done it and that it was wrong, but she justified it by saying she did it because she thought we would talk about her. She also tried to justify it by saying, "But I heard you say horrible things about me." I told her that I did not care what I said and that recording me without my knowledge and permission is wrong. She said that this happened months ago and that she won't do it again. However, I am not sure how much I believe that. I told her that everyone talks about everyone to some extent. I know that obviously in some circumstances talking about others is wrong or some things shouldn't be said behind people's backs. We are all very nervous to speak in the house now. I felt like I might be the bad guy by talking bad about her behind her back and making her uncomfortable. However, she shouldn't have recorded private conversations, so I'm not sure. So, AITA for talking about my mum behind her back, or is she for recording private conversations? Comment. This whole situation is bonkers. She is for recording people without their consent, and in many states this is illegal and you could press charges. Not saying you should, just trying to illustrate how seriously fucked up that is. If that gets out at her work, she could be in serious trouble. On the other hand, she has a 23-year-old daughter and her live-in boyfriend still living with her, and that's crazy. I think everyone would be better off if you and your BF got your own place immediately. That way she can't record you, and you don't have to be in these power dynamic struggles with your parents. I would be more understanding if it was just you living at home, but the live-in boyfriend is weird as hell and you need to get out. I don't see how you being autistic should really factor in here unless you are using it as an excuse for not moving out and not helping out around the house if you're gonna live there. I feel like it might be an issue, as it seems like your mom is taking care of 3 adults for no apparent reason, but without more info. The only thing I really feel confident weighing in on is that your mom is for recording people without their knowledge or consent in an effort to spy on them and control them. Move out up. Like yesterday. It'll fix just about everything, I guarantee it. No, not really shameful, but definitely complicated by living at home with your adult boyfriend in tow. If it was just her, I'd be more understanding. Op doesn't clarify the living situation much, so I'm assuming they aren't in a basement apartment or something and are just living in her childhood bedroom for free. She says nothing about school or jobs and says that the point of contention with her mom is no one helping around the house, and wanting to know when they are gonna move out. This is precisely why I say the only thing I'm 100% confident saying is that the mom shouldn't be recording them. Moving out would fix that though, which is why I suggest it. Your mom is insane. This is totally not normal behavior and in some circumstances can be illegal. Was she caught recording her co-workers? A lot of places would fire her ass. She needs help if she is so frigging concerned about what people say about her that she feels the need to breach privacy. And you need to move out ASAP if you ever want a guaranteed chance at privacy.